In this week's car news, tax hikes, car investigations, plant closures, industrial strikes. This week's seen it all. Most of this you could not write. Here's everything you need to know to be fully up to speed. Hello and a very warm welcome back to you. Let's dive straight into our first story because we really do have a bit to cover today. Second-hand electric car sales face drastic road tax hit. Industry body warns higher costs risk hurting take-up of EVs. Right, so we all know changes are coming to car tax. Allow me to quickly summarise what those changes are going to be for electric vehicles. So at the moment, electric vehicles pay zero, zilch. They don't pay anything. Now, from April forward, what's going to happen is the first year registration is only going to cost £10. This is kind of tactical on the government's part, I guess, try and pull people in towards the electric vehicles. But from year two, this is where you need to be careful, that's where it's going to ramp up. So it's going to jump to £195 per year. That's the standard rate. Or, here's the thing, if that car when it was new cost more than £40,000, that is going to jump to £620, £620 because of the expensive car supplement, which accounts for about 70% of EVs. Now that expensive car supplement portion of it, what's pushing it up beyond £600, that runs from year 2 to year 6. Doesn't matter if you resell the car, doesn't matter if it's got a new owner, he or she is going to need to pick that up and pay it. Now what that means is if you look at something like a Hyundai Kona, the electric one, it's going to cost you about 3 times more to tax that than its petrol equivalent because of the price difference between the two models when they're new. As if anyone needs another reason to avoid going electric. This, as you might expect, has caused a bit of an outcry with calls for EVs to be exempt from this higher tax payment. Personally, I'm struggling to come up with a good reason as to why they should be. I think the subsidies that have been put in place to help electric vehicles clearly haven't worked. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. One thing is for certain though, you can expect there's going to be a heck of a lot of electric vehicles taxed in March this year before April hits, because as is published in the Telegraph, this is a trick to getting another year of free car tax for electric vehicles. It's such a farce, isn't it? One of the comments on this really summed it up for me. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so there you go. Why does everything in the UK need to resort to tricks to save a bit of money? Why not just make the system simpler and clear to avoid all this rubbish? I couldn't agree more with that, to be quite honest with you. On the topic of electric vehicles, this popped up. I wanted to say a couple words about this and also get your thoughts on it as well. UK's largest ultra-rapid EV charging hub opens just off the M25. Ionity's new site at Dartford Bridge boasts 24 ultra-rapid 350 kilowatt chargers. We lose all idea of how much energy that is when it's just words written on a page, don't we? But 350 kilowatts, that is an insane amount of power. That's the power that would be required for 50 or 60 houses over an entire day. Anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. This article speaks about this base, this hub that they've opened being so key to the transition to moving everyone into electric vehicles. It talks about it being in such a prime location. It's all very good, very positive, very great. But to me, this is still a bit tone deaf because I don't believe that having another 24 ultra-rapid chargers on the M25 is going to cure all the problems and get everyone rushing to buy an electric vehicle. It's tone deaf because it's avoiding the major issue with hubs like this, the cost. Now, I've done a bit of digging on Ionity's website. There's a couple of ways that you can use their chargers. You can either get a passport, or if you don't want to pay a monthly fee, which you don't, who wants to pay a monthly fee? It's going to be 74 pence per kilowatt hour. Now, that is ludicrously expensive. Again, it's hard to have any reference when it's just words on a page. But if you do the maths on this, it's the equivalent to getting 16 or 17 miles per gallon out of a petrol car. Ludicrously expensive, as I say. They can install as many of these EV chargers as they want. They can put them in the most prime locations. But unless they can find a way of dropping the price of running an electric vehicle, this just does not make sense for a lot of car owners. Next up, a bit of a sad story to be honest with you. Vauxhall Luton to close by June. The move follows an earlier decision to consolidate all of Vauxhall's UK production at Ellesmere Port. So if you remember, this was announced back in November. It was cited that the ZEV mandate had caused the closure by putting pressure on the business. There had been calls from both unions and the government to reconsider, but it appears to have all been in vain. This is a real shame. Genuinely, 1,100 jobs affected, a staple of manufacturing right here in the UK, to be no more. Next, an interesting but very apt little story here. Government launches study into LED headlights following dazzling concerns. Public safety concerns have prompted the new study that could result in a ban on LED bulbs. I can't be the only one that's noticed this. Lights seem to be getting brighter and brighter over the years, don't they? And I know these new modern LED headlights, it's just the way they are, but they seem to be getting brighter. The government has noticed this as well, and it looks like they're going to do a bit of investigating here. Honestly, I think it's overdue. Some headlights are utterly obscene. I can't be the only one that thinks that. I know a lot of them have this system now where it automatically dips the main beam when it sees a car coming the other way and then puts it back on. I'm not convinced some of them do it quick enough. It'll be interesting to see what comes of this. Now, one category of car you most definitely don't need to worry about the headlights being too strong in is older cars. Candles in a jam jar, anyone? And that's exactly what Renault are turning their attention to. The days of owning a rusty Renault are over. Renault has launched a Porsche and Ferrari style initiative aimed at making ownership of older classic Renault vehicles easier than ever before. Now, this is an interesting move by Renault. So essentially, through a network of approved manufacturers, they're going to be producing parts to keep older cars going for longer. Fantastic, brilliant. Now, the reason that I say this is interesting is because manufacturers, especially mainstream manufacturers like Renault, know that they cannot continue to produce simple internal combustion engine cars, even although that's what the market is crying out for, especially when it comes to Europe and the UK. So is this perhaps their way of still having cars out there that they're still earning revenue on and people are still buying, running, enjoying? Imagine all manufacturers done this. Imagine you could buy a mint 2005 Fiesta with a full part supply and support. I do wonder if more brands are going to follow this, especially given that more people are buying used cars than ever before. And if that is you, let me slip in today's video sponsor because it might be useful for you. Vehicle Score. You can put the plate of any car you're interested in into their system. It'll tell you the good and bad points for completely free. And if you do opt to buy a full HPI check, they'll give you your money back if that check comes back clear. Can't say fairer than that. I'll drop a 15% discount voucher and link in the description below. Now, both BMW and Porsche gained headlines this week for declaring their continued commitment to the combustion engine, a move that would have been wildly controversial this time last year, but now just makes business sense. It would be suicide to do anything else. Starting with BMW, they cited the potential disruption to the US electric vehicle market, or in other words, because car buyers in the US are soon going to be able to buy exactly what they want, and we know it's not going to be electric, so they're going to continue to make engines. Porsche, well, they're in the same boat. And quite honestly, any manufacturer that does a Jaguar and declares they're going to go electric only, well, they're going to be up against it for the next few years, aren't they? Now, as ever, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy these news type videos, then do hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and as ever, remember to let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'll see you for the next one.